Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be learning how to cut a 6 pieces blouse without pattern. So the first thing I did was to fold the fabric into two. I fold the fabric into two, and the quarter of the nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with, half of the nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with is 3.5, and then ½ inch for seam allowance. I have 4 inches here, so I'm going to mark the 4 inches downward. So guys, I'm done connecting the nipple to nipple line. Now from here to here is the bust point. The bust line is 10 inches. Then I added ½ inch for seam allowance because I'm going to be joining ½ inch at the shoulder, so I made it 10.5. So the shoulder to under bust is 13 inches plus ½ inch seam allowance. I have 13.5, and the shoulder to the half length is 15.5. Then I added ½ inch, then I have 16, and this is the length of the blouse. So now I'm going to take the bust measurement. Now from here, now I'm going to use the 5 inches for for an off shoulder, just to know where the dart I'm going to be taking here, to know where it's going to start from. I'm just going to put it here. This is a 5 inch here, so I'm going to take 1 inch on this side. Okay, 1 inch on this side and 1 inch at the upper part here too. Or you can just ignore this and just connect your 1 inch from here to the bust. You can just connect your 1 inch from here to the bust, but I'll be taking the 1 inch from this place and also from here. So this is the bust point. I'll just come down by ½ inch here, and then I'll come up by ½ inch as well. So the under bust, I'll also take 1 inch at the under bust. I'll take 1 inch at the under bust, and I'll also take 1 inch at the waistline too. Okay, so I'm going to connect the lines together. So from here now, I'm going to mark this line straight like this, and then from here I'm going to, this is my so from here now I'll connect to this place. You can use your straight ruler here. Remember we went up by ½ inch. Just go up like this. You can see what I did here, and then from here you just use your armhole curve to take this line here. And then I'm going to rule this line. You can see. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to now mark out the flare or the A shape we want at the pieces blouse. So from this nipple point here, I'll just go out by 3 inches. So 3 inches is the flare I will add, then plus ½ inch for seam allowance. That's 3.5. Okay, so this is a 3.5. So from the waistline here, I will connect to this place. Okay, I'll connect here now. So you can see what I have from here now. I just went inward and I stopped here. Now you don't want sharp edge around there, so I'll just go up by 1 inch. So this is the 1 inch here. So I'll just blend this place up. So just blend this place up, and then I'll go ahead and cut it out. We have around there. So this is what it looks like after cutting it out. Okay, this is what it looks like. So I'll use this now to cut the other side. So you're going to place this like so. Can you see? making sure it touches the center. Make sure it touches the center here. Okay, so the next thing I will do now is to cut this part, to cut it out so that we can take the measurement. I already cut that excess around here out, and I also extended the line here, which is the shoulder line. So now the next thing you want to do is at the bust point here. This is the bust point, this is the under bust, and this is the waistline. Just extend the lines like so. Okay, extend the line like so. Okay, so you can see I've extended the line. Now from the bust, measure what you have around the bust here. So around here I have 4 1/4. Okay, so what you do is you measure the 4 1/4 outward like this, and then you take your bust measurement. Okay, you take it outward like so, and then you take the bust measurement. The quarter of the bust measurement is 9 inches. This is 9 inches. You'll be needing 1/2 inch on both sides to join the flare together. That is 1 inch. You have the 1 inch here, plus the side seam allowance of 1 1/2. So I'll have 11 1/2 here. So this is the bust point here. Now to the under bust, you measure what you have at the under bust. I have 3 1/2 here. Then you measure the 3 1/2 outward like so. You measure the 3 1/2 outward like so, and then place the quarter of the under bust measurement. So the quarter of the under bust is 8 inches, and then you had 1 inch for joining the darts together. You need 1/2 inch on both sides to join it together. That's 1 inch, and then 1 1/2 inch for side seam allowance. So this is what I have. Can you see? Now at the waist, measure what you have at the waist too. I also have 3 1/2 at the waist. You also mark the 3 1/2 outward like so, and take the quarter of the waist. So the quarter of the waist measurement is 8 1/4. So this is 8 1/4 here. You also had 1 inch for joining the darts together, 1/2 inch on both sides, and then 1 1/2 for side seam allowance. Okay, so you connect, just measure what you have here. I have 4 inches. Mark it here as well. Mark the 4 inches as well, and then you connect it to this place. Another thing you can do is just to know what your hip is going to be, just measure what you have within the center, this center here, to the bust point here. You are not going to measure this 3 inches with it. Just measure, this is 4 inches, and then you mark it out from the nipple to nipple point measurement I have here. Just mark the 4 inches out, and then take the quarter of the hip. So the quarter of the hip is 9 1/2. Okay, plus 1 inch for joining the dart together. This is it. This is 1 inch plus 1 1/2 inch. Can you see that I have the same measurement here? So so from the hip now, you also take the 3 1/2 inches we took here. You also measure it here as well. The 3 1/2, you measure it here too, and then you connect it from here to the waist. Okay, so I'm going to connect from there to the waistline. You can see this is the waistline. So I have connected this to the waistline. You can see how it looks like. What I just did now is to extend the bust measurement I have here. I extended it up to this place. So once I'm done joining the shoulder line together, then I will now take the armhole curve. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut it out. So I'll take this one off. Can you see what it looks like? So in order to have the same thing I have here on the other side, I will just place this other side. I'll place it on it. Okay, I'll just place it on it. So this is it after placing it on it, and then I'll cut it out. So once I'm done joining, then I'll cut the armhole and also the neckline.